Okay, well,
Hello.
welcome everybody.
Welcome. This is Anna,
This is Hannah.
and we are bringing you our very first episode of Stacked, the McIntyre Library podcast.
Hooray!
Yay! That will be coming to you at least monthly for the foreseeable future.
Fingers crossed.
Yes. And in this first episode, we are going to be each other's guests. Future episodes will have other guests from campus. So today we are going to ask each other a series of questions.
And answer and chat about libraries and things from McIntyre Library specifically, and hope we don't get too off track.
So who wants to start?
Well, let's go with you, Anna.
Okay.
Who are you and what do you do on campus?
I am Anna, and I am the arts librarian on campus, which means that I work with students and staff and faculty in the art and design and music and theater departments specifically, and then I also work with the religious studies and philosophy students on campus, amongst other things that I do, including working in our makerspace and with our digital studio team. And part of our digital studio is where we're recording right now, which is our large audio studio. So thank you for asking. That's me in a nutshell. And who are you and what do you do on campus?
Well, okay, as I said, I'm Hannah. My title is technically the Instructional Services Librarian, but that means absolutely nothing to people outside of the library or libraries generally. So translated, what that means is I am kind of the point person on all of the teaching that librarians do on campus, specifically, primarily information literacy instruction. And that takes a number of forms. It can be one-shots in classrooms. It can be semester courses. It can be recording videos or tutorials for, different classes or projects. So lots of different things. But we are specifically kind of like doing this podcast to talk about all of the resources that McIntyre has related to instruction and the way that it can support learning on campus, and also our spaces like the digital studio, and how those can support learning on campus. So
Excellent.
there we go.
Thank you, Hannah.
Thank
Good
you,
introduction.
Hannah. Woohoo.
Welcome.
Okay.
All right.
So we have a list of icebreaker questions that we're going to let our guests pick. And so we'll model this. Anna, do you have a question that is speaking to you this morning?
I think the question that's speaking to me today is, if you could live in the world of a book, which book would you choose?
Ooh.
And I think that I'm going to go back to a more idyllic time. I'm a big fantasy fan, but I'm gonna pick a little of historical realism today, because I think I need and would like to live in a calmer time, pre-email, pre-cell phones, pre-chaos. And this is a character and a world that is near and dear to my heart, and it is Anne with an E, Anne of Green Gables.
Oh.
If I could return or live in the world of a book, I would like to live on Prince Edward Island.
With Marilla and Matthew Cuthbert.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
That's my choice today.
And Green Gables.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Love the book. Also love the 1980s Megan Follows.
That's the only
TV
one
series.
that's really worth watching.
Yeah. Well, it's so beautiful
It's the best.
too.
Yes.
Yeah. I really want to go
gorgeous.
to PEI. I think that would be
Me too.
stunning.
We should take a trip.
Okay.
Two librarians going to Prince Edward Island and geeking out about Anne of Green Gables. I can just see us now with our cameras. And
Well, after Anne with an E, I'm sure that there's more Anne of Green Gables tourism, if there wasn't
Probably.
a ton already. But, my mom did that. My mom and dad went pre-COVID at some point, and they did Anne of Green Gables
did the
tourism.
tour?
Yep.
That's
So,
wonderful. Now I want to reread the book. Yeah. My favorite fiery redhead in fiction. Especially when she breaks the slate over Gilbert's head in the Megan film. Yeah. That's great. All right.
And then tries to dye her hair and it turns green. It's like, this is excellent. It's great.
Okay. So, what question is speaking to you today, Hannah?
Today, I don't know. What is your first memory of a library was really speaking to me because I grew up going primarily to the Skokie Public Library in the suburbs of Chicago, and it's a really wonderful library, primarily because it's consistently and well-funded. That is what you need to have, like good libraries that make impact. It's like consistent, adequate funding, right? Like that is... Okay. But their children's section was up on the second floor of the library, which is a bad choice. Actually, if you're designing a library, you want the kids section to be like really easily accessible. But I remember I loved going up the stairs, and they had this like, oh gosh, it was like a mural or like a cutout. I think it was like a cutout mural of a tree with all of these different animals reading like around the tree, and like there was this like big old traditional reference desk, but it was like only like children could see over it. It was like waist high, and then they had I just all of like the middle grade book.
That's so great.
It was so great, and then, like the middle grade bookshelves were like right behind it, so I would always like go past the tree and then wander around the middle grade bookshelves because. So I don't know. That's my first memory of a library, and it looks nothing like that now.
Did they move the children's section?
They did, down to the first floor. Yeah. The second floor is now they're very they're recently renovated in 2020 makerspace. So it is a very cool. High-tech glass wall kind of thing, but
nice.
Yeah.
We love well-funded libraries.
We do. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very creative spaces for children.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. To get them excited about reading, and yes.
Make them lifelong readers and learners.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Nice.
Well, kind of our next thing is to ask whoever is with us for the day, our guest, to talk about something related to the library that makes them excited or happy or just, I don't know, that sparks joy, to quote Marie Kondo. Okay. I don't know if that's still okay to do.
I think it is.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a good phrase, right? To spark joy.
It
there
is.
We go. So we are each going to do one of these. Anna, do you want to go first?
Sure. I just ran up and got this. This is something that is very new to the McIntyre Library Collection. It is something that I worked with Mary Hobley, who is one of our catalogers at McIntyre, to add to our collection, and it's something that's sort of near and dear to my heart as the arts librarian. But we have a new and hopefully will be growing collection of exhibit catalogs that are now cataloged in the ends, which for those of you who don't have the Library of Congress call numbers memorized, and you don't have to. I'm sure there's some librarians that do, but I know the ends very well because that's where all of our art books are on the fourth floor, and we now have a new collection of exhibit catalogs in the N511 range, and there are 5 of these catalogs, and these are exhibits that appeared in the Foster Gallery across the river from the library in the Haas Fine Arts Building. So I think there's going to be follow-up questions that I will go into more detail.
I was going to say, do you want to tell us a little bit more about the very first one that is very special?
Oh, yes, I do. The very top one is the most recent catalog for the most recent show that had a catalog associated with it, and it is the Meter and Medium of Visual Festschrift of Anders C. Schaefer, or Anders C. Schaefer. Andy Schaefer is how I know him, and Andy was an art and design instructor here. Started in the late 1960s and was here for years. And I curated a show of his work, a retrospective of his paintings, but accompanying Andy were his students who had been students during his tenure as a very well-respected professor on campus. So the catalog of that show, it shows his work, but then it also pays tribute to him through the students' words. So that is the top one that is in this box.
I'll just say, this was such a fun thing to go over to the Foster Art Gallery and actually look at. And the thing that really struck me was that there was such a range of like work done by Andy's students, right? It was like, it wasn't like a homogenous school. It was like things were being expressed in like different mediums, and it just was like a beautiful flowering of like the way different art can go in different directions, even if you're working in the same place and have like, I don't know.
Yeah, it did. It had a nice mix of graphic designers and painters and textiles, and I think the thing that really struck me was that you could see a through line. You still saw Andy's influence on their work. Yeah. So that was, it was a beautiful show. And so that catalog is now on our shelves at McIntyre Library, which is very exciting. But then also to accompany it, there are other catalogs. The other catalog that I'm looking at right now is the Florus Nocturnus Blooming at Night exhibit that was on our campus at the Foster Gallery in 2024, and Dr. Ray Langis curated this catalog, or this exhibit specifically. So that is another one. And the Foster Gallery is a beautiful space that not only focuses on students' artwork through the BFA program. We every semester have BFA shows where students exhibit their work. There's a juried art show, but also it's a great space for faculty at UWEC to collaborate with each other and bring new ideas and collaborate with artists. And this Florus Nocturnus show was a gorgeous show that also had just a very, it was so visually saturated. There were all of these wonderful pinks and bright colors and different textures to look at, and there's a beautiful essay written by Dr. Langis in this catalog. But we also have a couple of older shows in here that were exhibits that appeared in 2010 and 2013 that were shared with me. And then we also have a show that's an example of faculty working with students, so Layers of Inquiry, that appeared in the gallery in 2024, and the catalog came out in 2025. That was 4 students who worked with Ellen Mahaffey in communication and journalism, and then I was the junior faculty that worked on helping to curate that show. So this is now a little micro collection of 5 wonderful catalogs that are examples of exhibits that appeared on our campus. So I hope people will come and look at those and check them out and appreciate all of the work that went into making those exhibits. So that was my library thing. It's also a cool example of the work that librarians can do to bring new things to our shelves and feature the work of the people on our campus.
Yeah, I love that because it's it's bringing the work that students and faculty do on campus like into our collection. Like I think library collections are often seen as these like rarefied kind of things where it's like, but really they should be reflections of the communities that the library is in, and this is a beautiful way to do that. And
pretty cool. All right, what did you bring for us today, Hannah, or what do you want to talk about?
Well, actually I picked something kind of in your neck of the woods too.
Hey.
But it was something I enjoyed a lot. So I wanted to talk about a recording of a play, an audiovisual recording of a play called Negative Space that is available through one of our databases called Digital Theater Plus. Anna was the one who introduced me to this, actually, and just a little bit about like Digital Theater Plus. Like one of the reasons I think it's like really cool. Huge range of recorded theater productions, but it has like more than that, right? Like it has, for this Negative Space, like obviously there's the recording of the play. There's also like an interview with the director too, and some like other kind of supporting materials, but then also things about like more conceptual things about like set design. So you can like watch this video and then watch another one about set design and be like, oh, okay, I see, So it's a really robust tool for like learning about the art and the practice of theater, the art and
the staging and the development.
Yeah, all of like the technical aspects too, right? So I appreciated that a lot. It's a very like thoughtfully curated resource. But Negative Space, the play itself, is really cool.
It's so cool.
Okay. We're nerding out about this. It's great. So it's a play with no words. Like, they do not speak at all. There's like a white plywood room built on the stage. And the fact that it's plywood is important because it will be destroyed by the end of the play. Mm-hmm. So it's this like ensemble cast of people. And actually, I looked it up. It's a group called the Restless Sleeper Company. Okay. And the company like moves around the stage and the room built on the stage. They like come up through trapdoors in the floor. They climb over the walls to get into the room. And it's like a very like very minimal props. Like there's a chair, there's a hammer, right? Like the hammer also is important in the room destruction.
Very important prop.
Mm-hmm. But it's all about how the people like relate to each other and express ideas and emotions and kind of relationships without speaking and by interacting with each other in the room. And I just, it was fascinating to watch, and I can't, I mean, I like theater, but I'm not like I don't see a lot of it. Maybe I should do more, and
you can
this
with
a great
Digital
way to
Theater
do this,
Plus.
right? There we go. Yeah. But it was also like, this is probably not something I would have chosen to go see myself before I watched it. And now I'm like, oh, experimental theater. This was so cool. Let's go do it again.
We do a film series every summer at the library that anybody on campus is welcome to come join us. Usually it's over the lunch hour, and we try to pick films that are under the 1.5 hour range. So this was part of our series that Kate Hinnant and I designed the last couple of years, and we chose to pick a piece from Digital Theater Plus, and we've been using an image from this specific show to promote Digital Theater Plus. But one of the things that really struck me is just the timing and the actors having to just have very careful timing because it's so physical. But it is so funny. I mean, we're laughing because we're remembering it. And one of the funniest things is seeing the actors perched on top of the set walls, just sort of staring down at the other actors or at each other, and
or like seeing them climbing and then like trying to let themselves down carefully into the room,
and then they just drop.
Yep. Like they literally climb over the walls. Yeah.
Great choice, and a great example of. I mean, we have a lot of streaming video, but this is this is one of our cooler, I think, platforms for streaming video, and one of our newer resources that is great for people to know about. So
yeah, not just for theater people, right? It's like theater is something that everyone can enjoy.
Oh, we did it. We should get a star or have some kind of sound anytime we do that. That would be hilarious.
We are not
we
doing
won't
stings.
try to do it.
No.
Okay, fine. That's fine. Right.
Okay, so let's wrap up. I think we've done a good discussion of both of our things. So we have a last question that we're gonna kind of end the podcast on. Like, what else do we love about libraries generally, but also McIntyre libraries specifically?
I think, I've been drawn to libraries since I was a kid, and I think the sheer volume of resources and the free access to anything that I could possibly want to read about or learn about. And I remember I lived in Oconomowoc, Wisconsin when I was younger, and I would just walk into that library and walk into the nonfiction section and pull off a pile of books. I remember one time I walked in and I got everything I possibly could get my hands on about astrology and taught myself all about the different signs and what they mean. And I couldn't tell you what any of it means now, but I was going through some stage. But it's great because that's what libraries are for. They're for exploring who you are as a person, what's going to interest you. And it could be astrology. You could be coming in and looking for, historical fiction. You could be wanting to, research folk music. That's another time that I just pulled a pile of books off of a shelf and looked at lots of folk songs. So, yeah, so that's one of the things I love about libraries is the ability to explore who you are as a person. And McIntyre Library specifically, there's so many things I love about McIntyre Library, but I think one thing that I really love and appreciate is our fourth floor, and that all of the music and art books and theater books are sort of all together. So I love taking students and new faculty and staff to the fourth floor so that they can just walk around. You walk off of our elevators and you walk to your right, and there's an aisle of just gorgeous art books that you can pull off the shelves and look at for hours. Yes, and I encourage people to do that.
There's nothing quite like walking through the stacks.
It's a really, yes, and there are lights. So make sure you look for the light switches. They do exist, and you can turn them on to illuminate. Our stacks are notoriously dark, and yes.
But there are lights.
Yes,
they're just
turn on the
human-controlled.
lights. Yes. All right. What do you love about libraries generally, and maybe McIntyre Library specifically, Hannah?
Well, so I think one of the things I love about libraries generally is that they can be many different things to different people, right? It's like it's not one thing. It's a place of like many things. And I started out in libraries, like I volunteered at the local public library where I was working, and I volunteered for the Homebound program. And one of the things I did was I had a list of people I was responsible for, and I called once a month, like a week or two before we were going to do our deliveries, and I got to talk with these people over the course of, it was like a year and a half, 2 years I was volunteering for this. And I only stopped because they hired me and I had to stop volunteering. But even with, these people who, they couldn't physically come to the library, there were still so many different things that they got from their interactions with us through like the Homebound program. And like that was so powerful to me, right? That there's a place that can be something that someone needs. And it can be, that can be something different for everybody, but it can be something good and helpful for anyone. And that's why I became a librarian, because I think that's really cool and I want to keep doing that kind of work. McIntyre specifically, I think one of the things I love about this library is that like people have fun here. Like that's not always what people think of in academic libraries, but like there's a culture of fun here, right? Like we do like the film festival during the summer, or the film series, or there's a ping pong table like right outside of our offices on the first floor.
I love the ping pong table.
And like when you hear a game start up, it's like, oh, someone's out there taking a break. Mm-hmm. How nice, right? Or sometimes I go out and convince someone to play with me and take a break, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I think McIntyre does really, really well. And I value that, right? As a library can be a fun place, too.
Yes.
So.
Good.
Yeah. Okay.
Very good.
Me too.
All right.
Okay.
I think we're wrapping up.
Yeah. Well,
So-
thank you for listening to the first episode of Stacked, the McIntyre Library podcast. We're going to giggle every time we
You
say
did
that.
it well.
It's great. Okay.
We'll try to muffle it, but we'll be at least smiling and not smirking in the background.
Oh, I think I
Yes.
might just give up and giggle.
Okay. But yes, thank you very much for joining us, and we hope that you will join us for our next episode.
Where we'll have our first guest.
First guest.
Exciting. Spoiler alert, it's Jill Markgraf, the McIntyre Library Director. So watch this space. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Stacked, the McIntyre Library Podcast.
Our guest for this episode was Jill Markgraf. Thank you for joining us, Jill.
We would also like to thank the entire digital studio team and everyone at the library for their support.
This podcast was recorded in the large audio studio at McIntyre Library.
It was hosted and produced by Anna Zook and Hannah Carlton.
And edited by Hannah Carlton.
The music was by Matt and Lucy. Thank you. We love it.
And in honor of Brett Goldstein, quoting Bill and Ted, be excellent to each other and go to the library.
Bye.